Tonight on CTV News, buying a house in Canterbury just got a lot harder. Was the Mayor in a Chair idea a success or a time waster for council? And Cashmere High School's Crash Bash in action.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening. Recorded crime in this region has fallen for a third year in a row, a result police are putting down to better prevention and frontline response technologies. More than 38,000 offences occurred in Canterbury last year, a 6% drop than the year before that. Theft continues to make up the majority of crime profiles, followed by burglary and property damage offences. But there were fewer public order offences, falling by nearly 30% compared to 2013. There was also a drop in sexual offending. Well, no further court action will be taken by the parents of two St Bede's rowers. The boys were initially banned from the Māori Cup regatta for breaching airport security before their parents sought an interim injunction allowing them to compete. Board of Trustees Chair Warren Johnson says the school must be able to deal with disciplinary issues without the fear of parents going to court. He says the board's agreed not to pursue costs from the parents, believing the matter should be focused on behaviour and consequences. Well, Canterbury's surging house prices have reached a record high. The average asking price in the Canterbury region has jumped to $467,000. That's up 1.3% from the previous high in July last year. The number of homes being listed is also up in the region, 3.8% higher than this time last year. But some housing commentators say value increases in Christchurch are beginning to ease out now as a supply of new homes begins to meet the demand created by the Christchurch earthquakes. So was it a success or was it not a success? The Mayor in a Chair public consultation concept wrapped up today, but will it be back next year?
It's been a busy day in the council chambers, with nearly a full house of councillors present to hear what the new mayors of Christchurch have to say. Yes, that's right, mayors, plural. But just to confirm, Leanne Dalzell is still the Mayor of Christchurch. However, members of the public have taken up the opportunity to sit in the hot seat to express their views on the long-term plan. The inaugural concept, Mayor in the Chair, has been running sessions over the last week at the City Council, allowing anyone to come along and give suggestions towards the 10-year draft strategy. And the Deputy Mayor says she's happy with the turnout.
I think it's a really interesting process. One of the nicest things about being on the council is actually the ability to listen to what people have got to say, and they've always got really thoughtful things to say, and so providing opportunities for that to come through frequently is actually really helpful. This
is the final session out of 3 being put together by the council, and she says there's always uncertainty about the outcome.
We had no idea what would happen. It's also part of the joy of it is, what's the worst that can happen? Nobody turns up.
But that wasn't the case today, with a number of locals taking to the seat. Although the public consultation session was put together for the future plan, it also allowed others to bring up wider concerns around the city, including Redcliffe School's principal, stating concern towards the future of this site. Education Minister Hikia Parata has proposed a closure to the school site on Main Road in Sumner, with them being housed at the Van Ash Deaf Education Centre since June 2011. But Councillor Buck sees it as an opportunity for residents to be heard.
I don't mind that in the slightest. I think it's really important, especially in Christchurch at the moment, that there are opportunities for people to tell what's frustrating them, annoying them, issues that are really concerning particular communities, even if they're not necessarily ones that the City Council is making the decision on. It's really important that they get that chance to say those things and be heard.
The main concerns have been around funding, an issue the council is trying to deal with, working with a debt of $1.2 billion. Public consultation has become an important part of the Canterbury rebuild, and when CTV spoke to people on the street, many agreed but didn't have time to voice their opinion. Have you been a part of any of the public consultations?
No, I haven't.
And why is that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, just too busy.
Oh, I'm too busy.
I guess because we've actually got so many of our own issues at the moment with our business and our home.
But Buck says they've come up with other ideas to hear from ratepayers.
So we started another one at the last council meeting, and that's basically a sort of an open mic or a vox pop. Concept was that people could speak directly to their elected representatives about any subject. At the moment, if you make a deputation, or previously, if you want to make a deputation to the council on anything, it had to be a subject matter on the agenda. and you booked in the fact that you wanted to speak. This is you turn up on the day and you can speak.
And she says other ideas could become a reality in the near future.
I can totally understand for a lot of people a building like this is intimidating. It's not familiar to them, it's not their turf, so probably a coffee shop or a mall or something might be much easier for them.
But Mayor in the Chair has wrapped up for now, with plans to hopefully see it back in force later on in the year. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
It's official, and it's not a good official either. Christchurch's traffic congestion in rush hour is as bad as Melbourne, and it's getting worse.
If you have noticed traffic congestion is worse driving home than going to work, you'd be right. Latest statistics from driver navigation company TomTom say congestion in the Christchurch afternoon peak hour is worse than the morning work rush on nearly every day of the week. But this being said, Canterburyans suffer through their longest commute on Tuesday mornings. In fact, Christchurch commuters spend 77 hours in traffic delays a year. This is 6 more than in 2013. And on average, a drive that would normally take 30 minutes across the city in rush hour will now take up to 40. Christchurch is now the 6th most congested city in Australasia and now experiences similar congestion to that of Melbourne. But if you think this is bad, spare a thought for cities like Istanbul, St. Petersburg and Moscow, where congestion is so bad that it will take over twice as long to get to where you're going in rush hour traffic than it did a year ago.
I don't think we're as bad as Moscow just yet. Well, 300 angry Christchurch residents have warned the government to back off and stay away from Victoria Square. The Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority has been forced to ditch its $7 million revamp of the historical site. It now says it will start a clean slate approach. At last night's public forum, residents unanimously agreed that the square should be left alone. Have a look at this photo. Residents were asked to show their hands if they wanted the square to remain as is. And as you can see from that, the photo speaks for itself. Well, still to come here on CTV News, Neil Cox from the Isaac Theatre Royal joins me to discuss an exciting new campaign. Hi, I'm Chris Lynch. Join me every Monday at 8:30 on CTV as we discuss the issues affecting you, your family and everything to do with Canterbury. That's CTV 8:30 right here.
Computer not working? Replace or repair? DIY or get a technician? Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
The King is back, direct from the UK. Ben Portsmouth, voted the world's best Elvis performer with the Roger Fox Band, now on his 2015 world tour. His stage presence and voice quality will make you weak at the knees. You could be watching the King himself. Don't miss Ben Portsmouth, the ultimate Elvis performer. 10 shows only. For booking details, see thekingisback.co.nz.
Preparation, the devotion, the fearlessness, the intensity. Runway model management. First impressions are everything.
Made to measure interiors, made with care, made for you.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishin' as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishin', Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
And welcome back to CTV News. It was a saga in itself to get insurance money needed to restore the beautiful Isaac Theatre Royal right here in Christchurch after the quakes, and still more is needed for this simply iconic building. But now, if $150,000 can be raised by the public, the same will be matched by the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Trust. I'm sure this is possible. And joining me now is the CEO, Neil Cox. Good evening to you, Neil.
Good evening, Chris.
Great to have you in the programme. Just discuss for me this match-for-match deal. What's this all about?
Yeah, so I mean, the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Trust supported us through the rebuild. So there was $2.5 million donated to the rebuild of the theatre, but then they tagged the last $500,000 to us doing some public fundraising. So there's been various ways that we can do this through the processes of the theatre, but in the whole process of the rebuild, we were really proud that we didn't go out to the public of Christchurch and actually go cap in hand and say, please help us rebuild the theatre. We thought we want to rebuild the theatre and then talk to you.
And you've got a lot of international performers that, you know, kindly put on various performances across the globe and here in Christchurch, and you raised some amazing money, and now the theatre is looking absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
But you still need more money.
Well, it's all about maintaining what we've done, and I think the whole process of getting a theatre up and running, and anyone will, you know, in the theatre game will know that you've got to the model has to keep on working. We're proud of what we've delivered to the city, and the people, we believe, are very proud who've come to the theatre to see it. But it's got to be maintained, and we took out some significant loans to finish the rebuild, and they need to be serviced, and there's no getting away from that. So it's that this match funding from the Earthquake Appeal Trust can actually help significantly. So every public donation that is put through the Take the Stage campaign will be matched for that. So our target's $150,000. That's what we're looking for.
Neil, you know what? Every time I've spoken to somebody who has experienced a performance in the new look Isaac Theatre Royal, not one negative comment. They love the ambience, they love the feel of it, they love the fact that it really is a revamp, but it's keeping in the traditional style of what a Royal Grand Theatre should be all about. You must be delighted with the results, though.
It is, it's fantastic. I mean, we are, I pinch myself certain performances when I sit in the seats, because it really is, sometimes you feel that you're going back 5 years and sitting in a theatre that was there, and people I think are really happy with the fact that it hasn't just been bold and recreated. It was deconstructed, but recreated and reformed in exactly the same way.
I still can't believe it. When I was with you the other day having a look inside, and I still cannot get over the fact how beautiful it looks compared to, only seems like a few months ago, Neil, now, well, I guess it's a lot longer than that now, when I thought to myself, that ain't coming up anytime soon, but you did it.
Yeah, there was a bit of thought about that.
You know what I mean? When you couldn't see much apart from an open-air plan environment, I thought, whoa.
Exactly. But then if you think about it, Chris, I mean, a lot of people weren't venturing into town. So we were, even though once the red zone sort of came down, people started venturing into town. But a lot of the people who have been coming to theatre haven't really been around there for 4 years. So, you know, it's a whole new adventure for them. And some people coming into the theatre actually have no idea how much we did to reconstruct it. So it's, for them, it's almost like, you know, again, stepping back in time a little bit.
I mean, the Theatre Royal's not like a sporting code. You don't get the massive subsidies from the alcohol industry. You don't get them. So you really do need the public of Christchurch to come to the party. I think they will, Neil. Tell us about the campaign you've got going on. I know that News Talk ZB is involved in this amazing campaign. Not only do we need to get more cash for this iconic building, but there's an open day next week too. Let's discuss that.
Yeah, there is indeed. So I mean, we've always been asked for open days for the public to come and have a look, and it's a very hard thing to structure, because you know, how do you really do that? But we thought if we've got a good campaign like Take the Stage, where it is a fundraising opportunity as well, that the public will feel okay about coming to look around the theatre without having to see a show, and to give a minimum $5 donation to the process. So we're expecting quite large numbers next week.
This is happening on Wednesday next week. The open day is the open day hours are from when to when?
From 9 in the morning till midday. So I mean, and it's school holidays, so I mean, it's, you know, come along, bring the kids, and in the background of people wandering down the aisles and looking in the auditorium, in the background there'll be the set of Phantom and the Opera, which opens the next night. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so
you can have a sneak preview to that.
Of that as well.
I think you'll get good crowds. You've got your school holidays coming up, and there is a genuine interest to look at a theatre without having to necessarily see a performance, but it's something where you can have a bit of a relaxing tour around to see just what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a rare thing, because normally you get bustled into a show, sit down, bustled out, and now you've got actually a bit of time to wander around and take in a bit of the glory of the theatre.
It seems like to me this theatre's going to be consistently, fingers touch wood, booked out you've got Phantom of the Opera coming up.
Yes.
You've already held a convention, which that's great space there. Who needs a convention centre when you've got the Theatre Royal? You've got. Can you give us a bit of a taste? Don't you know you need to give anything away if the contract's going to be signed? But I'd imagine you've got some other decent shows on the way. Artists coming here.
Absolutely.
Come on, tease the audience.
I mean, we've as we say, Phantom of the Opera's coming. New Zealand Opera with Madame Butterfly opens in July. That's the first time New Zealand Opera have been at the Isaac Theatre Royal. It was always Southern Opera before. Royal New Zealand Ballet bring Salute and Midsummer Night's Dream back in May and August this year. The Christchurch Arts Festival's coming with a show which will be extremely exciting. I'm told it's sort of a magician's rock concert, which is
that
quite
sounds
cool.
good.
Yeah, so that's a bit of fun. And also with the town hall out of action, there's a lot more music coming through. So Brooke Fraser's playing there. We've got Isla Grant playing there later in the year. So there's audiences for all, for all ages coming through to the theatre.
But what is nice about the Isaac Theatre Royal is its intimacy. Although I've got to give credit to the Horncastle Arena, it did a great job, catering for the New Zealand Ballet, catering for New Zealand Opera. It did a great job. But I bet you a bottom dollar that the managers of these two organisations will be breathing a sigh of relief knowing now the Isaac Theatre Royal is fully operational again for their performances, because there is that intimate space, there's that warmth you don't get anywhere else in Christchurch.
No, exactly. And also for the Horncastle Arena management, I mean, so it was taking up days that they necessarily were losing for other performances as well.
Because they're having to compact, make smaller environments.
Yeah, so now we've got a nice synergy between the two venues. We've got a theatrical venue and an arena venue that both cater for their own individual things.
I just want to ask you, because I think it's important to remind the audience of some of the international artists that have put their money where their mouth is and donated a lot of their time to raise funds for the Isaac Theatre Royal. Just remind the audience some of those amazing men.
The most favourite was Sir Ian McKellen, obviously, who just came to us and did that 15-show tour of New Zealand 2 years ago and raised $350,000 on his own. And it's still one of my most favourite memories from the fundraising campaign of being in the last night in Wellington Opera House, full, 1,500 people, and having the cast of The Hobbit, including Billy Connolly and Martin Freeman, and holding buckets and getting people to donate for a Sir Ian signature. That was a marvellous situation. Richard O'Brien, the creator of the Rocky Horror Show, is a very good friend now, and he's probably collectively raised about 100,000 himself. Miriam Margolay, who was in Harry Potter and various other movies as well. Great actor in her own right, did a performance for us in 2012 as well, and raising $10,000. Hayley Westenra has been involved. I mean, and the beauty of all these things, Chris, is that they all know other people, so the networks that they engage have all pricked up their ears about what's going on as well.
We are lucky, aren't we? I mean, the international artists have really come to the party for Christchurch. But you know what, Neil? Now it's time for the public to do so as well.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. I mean, we'll provide the theatre for them for years to come, and this is the whole thing: is that we really want the theatre to be as good as it is for many years to come, so that it's for your children and for your grandchildren. In the days when we're sitting in our rest homes, Chris, with watching telly, it'll be that situation saying, God, look, there's something on at the Isaac Theatre Royal. I'm going to go to that.
All right, finally, let's just recap the opening day next Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m, $5 donation. Perfect time for school holidays. And of course, we're broadcasting live. Neil, appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
Keep up the amazing work you do.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very much respected, that's for sure.
Thanks.
And now to other more complex art situations. If you like, the troubled Ashburton Art Gallery is finally all go after a mountain of issues, thanks to, new air conditioning parts finally being arrived. The staff will be watching very closely to see if the system actually works so they can finally reopen.
So far, so good. After a legacy of ongoing delays and multi-million-dollar cost blowouts, the Ashburton Art Gallery and Heritage Centre now appears to be problem-free. The final piece to complete this centre's puzzle was the installation of an air conditioning unit to temperature control the artworks in the building's upstairs art gallery. This unit had to be sourced from Italy and unfortunately arrived late. However, it has since been installed, and after its first week of service, the Ashburton District Council says temperature and humidity readings are showing positive results. The completed $10 million centre was $4 million over budget and due to open last year, but the official opening was pushed out to February due to delays. All going well, the centre will be fully operational nearly 9 years after the idea's conception, and Ashburton will finally have its long-awaited arts building.
More good news. And still to come here on CTV News, your weather forecast.
With all the latest innovations in the world of technology, Shift has everything you need to stay informed and in the know. Shift, 2:15 on Monday, right here on CTV.
Opus is recreating the heart of Canterbury. From large-scale projects to commercial buildings. Your design, your vision. Opus.
Colour in your life. Colour Steel, the roof of New Zealand.
Diversity. No deposit. Instant finance. Convenience. Open 7 days. Austin Motor Company.
Drive It showcases the new arrivals to the motoring world, comparing and testing the latest models to discover which one is the best. Drive It, Sunday afternoons at 2:30, only on CTV.
And welcome back to CTV News. Young drivers have a high rate of serious road accidents. We know this. So again this year, police are getting in early to educate students about the importance of road safety before it's too late. Jared McCulloch was at Cashmere High School today to see this year's Crash Bash performances in action.
A show by young people for young people, sending awareness of a growing issue through a dramatic performance. These Christchurch High School students are being educated about road safety through a program set up by the police and the Christchurch City Council. Crash Bash has been running for a number of years, travelling around nearly 30 high schools in Canterbury during the last month. And the manager in charge says they've added a new dimension to the show.
Crash Bash has been running for 22 years now. It's had various different formats throughout its life. So right now, the last 5 years, we've had the current format, which is around engaging multiple agencies. So we have police involved, we have a number of schools involved in helping us plan for it.
It's an educational program, raising awareness of young people and driving, identifying the risks behind the wheel, including issues with drugs and alcohol. And Regan says their focus has been on the basic steps before heading out on the road.
The key component to this is around safe choices and making safe choices throughout your life. So the current focus is around things like driver distractions, seat belts, and licence issues. So they're the current topics for this year. But as I say, it revolves all around safe choices.
But he says they're also looking at the online aspect as well.
We bring in other community issues such as social media and other elements of it as well, in conjunction with the police and the schools.
This year, the show has been named Hot Seat, set up in the style of a game show, with the idea of getting some of the Cashmere High School students involved. It's addressing a number of issues using humour through songs, short videos and theatre performances to get the message of safety across. And it's been all put together by graduate students from the Christchurch Polytech's NASDA program, bringing back some of the safety messages these pupils remember well.
click, goes to seatbelt before you hit the track, make it click.
So it's involving them and they're fresh out of their studies, etc. So it's a really good community collaborative effort to put this on and deliver the messages that we're looking to deliver.
Safety on our region's roads is a serious concern. Within the last 5 years, young adults between the age of 15 and 24 have been involved in over 300 serious incidents resulting in injury, and even worse, 18 people have died. And Regan says this program is all about addressing the problem and finding ways to get the numbers down.
Our recent review of the statistics show that 27% of all fatal and serious injury crashes in Christchurch involve young drivers. So there is a real message here to be delivered. There's a real reason for delivering this message.
By the end of the week, the show would have been seen by around 14,000 people. Another step to keep Canterbury roads safer for everyone. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Fantastic stuff. Now time for your region's weather.
Kia ora everybody, let's get into your region's weather for today. Timaru was on a lovely 22 degrees today, Temuka and Geraldine up slightly on 23 degrees. Ashburton and Methven 21 degrees for you today, Rakaia also following on 21 degrees. Darthfield, Leeston and Rolleston all receiving 21 as your high, Lincoln also on 21 today, and Christchurch just a little lower on 20 degrees, and Akaroa also on 21 degrees for Wednesday. Out in North Canterbury, Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley all on 21. Up a little further, Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot, 23 was your high today. And up along the east coast in Kaikoura, 19 degrees was your high today. Let's take a closer look now at the weather for tomorrow. Timaru, warm northwesterlies freshening and a high cloud increasing during the day. And you can expect a lovely high tomorrow of 26 degrees. Tonight's low getting down to 12. Ashburton, a fine warm Thursday ahead with high cloud and light winds. Tonight's low at 12 degrees, tomorrow's high 25. The Garden City, a very pleasant Thursday is in store for you with high cloud and warm temperatures. Tonight's low at 12 degrees and a lovely warm 25 is your high tomorrow. Up in Kaikoura, a fine warm Thursday ahead with high cloud and light winds. Tonight's low also 12 degrees and tomorrow's high 25. Let's take a closer look at the other areas around the region. Temuka and Geraldine, some cloud with a high of 25 expected for you. Methven and Rakaia, some cloud, 25 is your high. Darthfield, Leeston, Rolleston and Lincoln, high cloud expected and a high of 25 degrees. Over in Akaroa, some cloud about, but a warm high of 26. And up further along over the Waimak, Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley, some cloud and a high of 25 degrees. Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot, some cloud about and a high of 25. Looking ahead for Canterbury, fine and mild on Friday with high cloud and breezy northeasterly winds. Fine and mild also at first on Saturday with high cloud and freshening northwesterly winds. Cloudy on Sunday with cooler southwesterly winds developing, a few showers possible at times. Cloudy on Monday with northeasterly winds becoming fresh and gusty, a period of rain during the evening. Strong northerlies decreasing on Tuesday with high cloud breaking and sunny periods developing. Warm temperatures are expected. And that's your region's weather for Wednesday. Have a great evening.
And that is CTV News for Wednesday. Thanks for your company. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.